Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kita mulakan kelas kita pada pagi ini dengan membaca Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah. Minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Arrahmanirrahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Shiratal mustaqim. Shiratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim. Amin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidina Muhammadin asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabbihi ajmain. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, ampunkanlah dosa-dosa kami, ampunkanlah dosa kedua ibu bapa kami dan kasihilah mereka sebagaimana mereka mengasihi kami di masa kecil. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, kurniakanlah kepada kami ilmu yang bermanfaat untuk diri kami, keluarga kami, agama kami, bangsa kami dan negara kami. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, berilah kepada kami kejayaan di dunia dan di akhirat. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, jadikanlah kami orang-orang yang bersyukur. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Alhamdulillah, kita bersyukur kepada Allah Subhanahu wa taala pada pagi ini kita dapat meneruskan kelas kita untuk minggu yang kelima ya. Jadi semoga semuanya sihat ya. Jadi saya sendiri sedang positif COVID ya, dan kuarantin di rumah sehingga 26 hari bulan April ya. Jadi kesihatan pun tak berapa sihat. Jadi insyaAllah saya teruskan kelas kita pada pagi ini. Cuma mungkin tak sampai 2 jam lah kelas kita pada pagi ini ya. Tapi setakat mana saya mampu. Mungkin 1 jam lebih ya, ataupun 1 jam begitu. Dan insyaAllah kita akan masuk tajuk baru pada hari ini, iaitu tajuk Changes in Business Structure. Jadi tak samalah dengan tajuk yang kita belajar pada minggu pertama, minggu kedua, intangible, ya. Minggu ketiga, minggu keempat, biological asset, ya. Dan ini pada minggu yang kelima, kita akan masuk tajuk yang baru iaitu changes in business structure. Jadi pada malam tadi saya sempatlah upload nota. Sebenarnya nota itu berdasarkan kepada buku kita lah. So anybody who has the book, you can refer to your book. If you do not have the book, you can refer to that notes. Okay. So, insyaAllah I will share the notes and my lecture is based on that notes. Okay. So, in our syllabus, it is in chapter 3. Yeah, our syllabus chapter 3. However, in our book it is not chapter 3. In our book it is chapter 7. Yeah, in our book it is chapter 7. So you can refer to that, and at the back of the chapter you can find there are many questions, okay, that you can try. Okay, so we are going to start with the discussion about company reconstruction and changes in business structure. Okay, so what is actually company reconstruction? What is actually company reconstruction? Reconstruction may take place when the company makes material and formal changes. Okay, when the company makes material and formal changes. So material and formal changes to the company. Okay, especially to the capital. Yeah, especially to the capital of the company. So whenever a company makes changes to the capital, it is known as company reconstruction. Okay, do you remember what are the components of capital? The components of capital are ordinary share capital, preference share capital. Okay, and it also include the loan capital debenture. So when you make changes formally to that ordinary share, preference share, debentures, you are actually reconstructing the company. Okay, but the reconstruction cannot be made as we like. Okay, but it must be based on certain circumstances. There must be certain circumstances that lead to the company reconstruction. A company may have to reduce its paid-up capital. This is an example. A company may have to reduce its paid-up capital, such as when it has more than its optimum level. You have more than enough. You only need 1 million, but you have 3 million. So you have more than what you need in your company. Or second reason is your paid-up capital has been eroded by heavy losses. So ada dua reason kat sini. Reason yang pertama, you have more than what you need. You have more than what you need. And second one is your paid-up capital has been eroded by heavy losses. So your losses, your company suffer losses for several years until your losses has eaten up your capital. Your losses eaten up your capital. For example, you have 1 million ordinary share capital. Okay, in the first year of operation, you suffer 100,000 loss. Second year, 100,000. Third year, 100,000. Fourth year, 100,000. How many thousand already? 400,000 loss. Accumulated loss 400,000 for 4 years. You are accumulating losses for 400,000. So what is your equity value? The equity value is now 1 million minus 400,000. So this is an example that your company capital has been eroded by losses ataupun has been eaten up by the losses. So that is the second reason of making a capital reduction ataupun kita panggil apa tadi, company reconstruction. A salient point is that a company paid-up capital has to be maintained except in exceptional circumstances. Okay, we have to know that a company must maintain the capital. The company must maintain the capital. However, due to certain circumstances like this, the company is given exception by the government. Exceptional circumstances such as when there is a share buyback, or in capital reconstruction. This is required by Companies Act 2016, and the company has to fulfill the statutory requirement as set out in the Act. So it is not as simple as changing the capital structure. We cannot simply change the capital structure. We need to maintain capital structure unless we follow certain rules that has been given by the Companies Act 2016. There are two types of reconstruction. The first one is internal reconstruction, and the second one is external reconstruction. So our major focus in this chapter 3 is on internal reconstruction. However, we are going to learn a bit about external reconstruction. Okay, internal reconstruction. Internal reconstruction, another name of internal reconstruction is capital reduction. It may be undertaken by a company that has surplus capital. If you remember the original introduction, just now is using the same reason. That is, the company has surplus capital, or its capital has been eroded by trading losses. The company may, unless otherwise provided by its constitution, reduce its share capital in one of two ways. Jadi kita boleh menggunakan salah satu daripada dua cara ni untuk kita reduce kita punya share capital ataupun kita punya capital lah, bukan share saja. A, by special resolution and confirmation by the court, or B, by special resolution supported by solvency statement. Yang biasanya adalah by special resolution dan confirmation by the court. Reduction of share capital with court approval and special resolution. According to sections 116 of the Companies Act 2016, it allows a company, subject to confirmation of the court, to reduce its share capital in the following three situations. This is according to Section 116, Companies Act 2016. Number one, write off or reduce the liability on its unpaid share capital. Write off or reduce the liability of its unpaid share capital. So, for example, a company with 50 million shares with an issue price of RM2.50 per share, paid up to RM1.80 each. Reduce the ordinary shares to RM1.80 each fully paid. Okay, so nowadays, when the company issue ordinary share, okay, the issue price can be RM1, can be RM2, can be RM3, can be RM2.50. Okay, so let's say, for example, this company has issued ordinary share at a price of RM2.50, and the shareholders has paid RM1.80 each. The 70 cent will be called later when the company need the 70 cent. However, before that happen, the company has decided to reduce its value of share capital. Okay, it means the company has cancelled the liability of the shareholders to pay the balance of 70 cent, and reduce the ordinary share from RM2.50 to RM1.80 each. Fully paid. That is number one. Number two, cancel any paid up capital which is lost or unrepresented by asset. The paid up shares capital is reduced to reflect the net asset of the company. This is the second situation. The shareholder has already been paying. Okay, it is fully paid. RM2.50 already fully paid. Okay, but the company decided by the approval of the court, okay, to reduce the paid up capital not represented by asset. So, okay, what we can say from here? Normally, okay, when we have RM2.50 share, it means our net asset value is also RM2.50 or above. What is net asset value? Net asset value means total asset minus total liabilities divided by number of shares. Total asset minus total liabilities divided by the number of shares. The value must be at least RM2.50 or greater than that. If the value is actually lower than that, lower than RM2.50, for example, the value is only RM1.50, so the company can decide by applying to court, by special resolution and apply to court, to reduce the share capital from RM2.50 to RM1.50. Okay, that is number two. Number two is already paid. Number one, not yet paid. Number two, already paid. Number three, return to shareholders any paid up share capital that exceeds the need of the company. Okay. Yang ketiga ni, because the company has excess capital. It has excess capital. Okay. The company only need 1 million, but the capital value is 3 million. So the company can return back the 2 million to the shareholders. Okay. So these are the three situations under Section 116 of the Companies Act 2016. Any questions so far? That is okay. Next, protection of creditors. So protection of creditors is very important. Okay, you have learned this in Companies Act, right? In company law. In company law, you learn about this, and we are actually learning some part of the company law here. Okay, whereby the creditors' rights are protected. Okay, so whenever we are going to reduce the share capital, okay, we cannot forget, okay, the right of the creditors. Section 16, Section 116 of the Companies Act 2016 protects the interest of the creditors where the proposed scheme of capital reduction is carried out in the above mentioned way, the creditors may object to the proposed scheme. Sometimes the creditors do not agree with the scheme proposed by the company. Okay, the court will only confirm the scheme after the creditors' claims are satisfied, secured and settled, and their consent to the scheme obtained. Jadi maknanya, kalau katakan kita nak buat reduction of capital tadi, kita kena dapat persetujuan daripada creditors. Okay, kalau creditors not affected, katakan creditors tu dia ada account payable kan, account payable 1 million, and we pay 1 million, and creditors say okay, we have no objection. Jadi dengan no objection daripada creditors tadi, okay, kita tak perlulah risau lagi. Kita proceed dengan kita punya proses of capital reduction. Tetapi kalau katakan kita nak minta, we want the creditors to bear some of the loss. Ini yang problem dia. We want the creditors to bear some of the loss. Katakan creditors ni dia ada 1 million kan? 1 million. So kita nak minta creditors ni reduce dia punya claim from 1 million to 800,000. Maknanya dia reduce dia punya claim. So creditors ni dia tak setuju. Ataupun dia setuju. Mungkin dia setuju. Mungkin dia tak setuju. So creditors yang baik dia akan setujulah. Sebab okay, you can continue to be supplier of the company in future. Kan? Rugi sikit 200,000. Tetapi akan datang, you tetap menjadi supplier, you akan dapat untung yang lebih lagi di masa depan. So, the consent from the creditors is very, very important here. This is under section 116 of the Companies Act 2016. And the court will not allow the scheme of capital reduction if the creditors disagree with the scheme. Jadi kena dapatkan persetujuan, kena pujuk elok-elok creditors ni supaya dia bersetuju. Jadi kalau dia sama ada dia tak terlibat dengan tak terlibat dengan kerugian ataupun kerugian dia hanya minima, mungkin creditors bersetujulah. Tapi kalau banyak, mungkin dia kena pujuklah sampai dia setuju. Okay. Okay. 3.13, capital reduction where capital is not represented by available asset. Okay. Not represented by available asset. Jadi macam mana pula capital not represented by available asset? Bukan ke asset is equal to capital? Bukan ke asset is equal to equity? Yes, asset is equal to equity. But when the equity has been eaten up by loss, macam tadi saya cerita awal tadi. Okay, company ni dia ada 1 million ordinary share. Kemudian tahun pertama 100,000 loss. Tahun kedua 100,000 loss. Tahun ketiga 100,000. Tahun keempat 100,000 lagi. So 400,000 loss has been eating up. Has been eating the capital. The capital value reduced from 1 million to 600,000 because of capital plus loss is equal to equity. So the equity value is only 600,000. That is for 4 years. What about in the 5th year? In 6th year? Okay. Pada tahun yang berikutnya mungkin value of equity akan jadi kosong kalau kita tak buat apa-apa. So, capital reduction where capital is not represented by available asset. Apa yang kita nak buat? A common situation is where a company's capital is eroded by the accumulated losses and has been unable to pay dividends to its shareholders for several years. Companies have two choices. Ada dua pilihan. Company yang rugi banyak ni ada dua pilihan. Number one is to liquidate. To liquidate means you sell your assets and you pay your creditors. And the balance you pay your ordinary shareholders. That is to liquidate. Liquidate ni maknanya kita cairkan. Kita bubarkan company kita. Or to reconstruct. To reconstruct means kita buat capital reduction lah. Liquidation is to sell all assets. Settle all liabilities. And distribute the remaining asset to the shareholders. Whereas reconstruction is to save the company. It will only be done if there is evidence that the company can make a profit in the future. So you must provide some evidence that the company will make profit in the future after you make the capital reduction. And be able to pay dividend to its shareholders. the accumulated losses will be written off and all the asset will be adjusted to reflect the recoverable amount if the carrying amount is more than the recoverable amount. Okay, let's look at this illustration. Given below is the statement of financial position of a company whose capital is not represented by available asset. Okay, so we can see from here, we have CR sendirian berhad. Statement of financial position as at 31st December 2021. 2021 eh. Okay, with non-current asset, non-current tangible asset of 200,000, intangible asset 20,000, current asset 30,000, altogether 250,000. What about ordinary share capital? A very big amount, ordinary share capital 600,000, but you have also a big accumulated loss that is 400,000. And you have current liability also 50,000. Total equity and liabilities is 250,000. Can you see the situation where the capital is not represented by sufficient asset? Can you see or not? You have 600,000 capital, but your total asset is only 250,000. This is the meaning of capital is not represented by available asset. Kan? Kalau ikut kita punya formula, accounting equation, asset equal to capital. So total asset is 250 equal to 250 capital. But at the start of the incorporation of the company, the formula is total asset 600,000 is equal to total equity 600,000. But now the value is different. The value is different. Total equity is still 600,000, but total asset is only 250,000. That's why we say for this company, the capital is not represented by available asset. Begitu. Jadi sepatutnya 600,000 ni represented by 600,000 total asset, but it's not. It is only represented by 250,000. So this is one reason for a company to apply for capital reduction. So kita boleh kata not represented by asset, ataupun kita juga boleh kata the capital has been eroded by accumulated losses, ataupun the capital has been eaten up by heavy losses. Boleh, dua-dua boleh. So note, the accumulated loss of 400,000 have eroded the paid up capital. Can you see the accumulated losses of 400,000? Yes?
Nampak sir.
So, can you see that the total equity is only 200,000? Kan? 600,000 minus 400,000 is only 200,000. Sedangkan asalnya dulu 600,000 sebelum ada profit. Bila dah ada profit, ada loss, dia tinggal 200,000. So, the accumulated losses of 400,000 have eroded the paid up capital. So, this is a problem for the company. If you continue your business, next year you make loss also. Kan? Another 100,000. So, equity tinggal 100,000. Another year, you make a loss of 100,000 again. Then equity becomes zero. Okay? So, can you continue your business with a zero equity? The answer is almost impossible. So, you have to do something. The recoverable amount of the asset may be less than their carrying amount. Of course, when you have a problem with your company, okay, your non-current asset, intangible asset, current asset will have different values. Okay, different values. Kita panggil sebagai value in use ataupun fair value less cost to sell. Either one. Macam kita cerita kan, value in use ataupun fair value less cost to sell ni, kita akan ambil the higher of. The higher of value in use and the fair value less cost to sell, and we compare with carrying amount. So in this case, carrying amount dia 200,000, 20,000, 30,000. Itu carrying amount dia. Tapi kita kena tengok dia punya recoverable amount. Sekejap lagi. There is a cash flow problem evidenced by negative net working capital. Negative net working capital dapat dari mana? Kita tengok current asset compare with current liabilities. Current asset is 30,000, current liabilities is 50,000. This is an evidence that you have cash problem. So if you have cash problem, you cannot do anything. Nak beli apa tak boleh, nak bayar apa tak boleh, nak bayar you punya supplier pun tak boleh. Okay, so cash flow problem evidence by negative net working capital. And the net asset per share is only 30 cents. The carrying value of shares has been reduced but no entries to reflect the actual situation. Okay, jadi cuba kita lihat betul ke? Betul ke kita punya the net asset per share is 30 cents? Okay, net asset ya. So let us calculate secara secara congak You boleh gunakan the calculator. Okay, total asset is 250,000. Net asset is to minus the current liability. So 250,000 minus 50,000 is equal to 200,000. Equal to 200,000. So 200,000, 200,000 tu kita panggil net asset. Okay, 200,000 is net asset. Net asset 200,000 divided by 600,000. Number of shares. 200 bagi dengan 600. 200 bagi dengan 600 ni lebih kurang 1/3 lah. Kan? 1/3. Jadi 1/3 tu lebih kurang lah 30 sen. Jadi kat situ dia kata the net asset per share is only 30 sen. The carrying value of shares has been reduced but no entries to reflect the actual situation. Sebenarnya adalah cerita yang saya boleh bawa tetapi sebab masa dia tak banyak. Sebenarnya ada cerita yang real punya story. Apabila net asset tu sebenarnya net asset dia negatif. Dia tak sampai negatif lagi. Tapi ada company yang sampai net asset dia negatif. Ada one of my student or my ex-student dia call saya tanya, sir, macam mana saya nak selesaikan masalah ni? Dia kata, company saya ni ada satu subsidiary yang mana dia punya net asset dia negatif. Okay, tak apalah cerita tu. Okay, so what are the choices here? What are the choices? Okay, choice number one is to continue the business as usual and the capital further eroded. Macam saya kata tadi, selepas beberapa tahun dah tinggal 600 tolak 400. Lepas tu 600 tolak 500. Lepas tu 600 tolak 600. Lepas tu 600 tolak 700 pula. Negatif dah. Continue the business as usual and the capital further eroded. Itu pilihan kita. Nak jadi gitu ke? Tentulah kita tak nak macam tu. Yang kedua, wind up. Wind up ni kita bubarkan. Bubarkan ataupun kita kata liquidated. Wind up ataupun liquidated. Yang ketiga, reconstruct. Reconstruct ni kita perbaiki. Kita perbaiki. Another term for reconstruct is to reorganize. The option to reconstruct or reorganize is available only if the company has recovered from the bad trading, start positive step to earn profit that lead to the payment of dividend in the future, adjust the carrying amount of asset, write off the losses, and reduce the paid-up capital. It may also involve securing additional funds by issuing additional shares. Jadi ini penting. Maknanya untuk kita nak reconstruct tadi, kita kena ada usaha-usaha yang ini. Jadi company tadi bukanlah dia cuma kata, oh, we want to reconstruct. Itu saja kan. Dia tak boleh kata macam tu. Okay. Tak boleh nak buat macam tu saja. Tetapi apa yang dia kena buat adalah dia kena start dengan step-step yang ini. Dia kena start dengan step-step yang ini. Maknanya the company start recovering from bad trading. Start positive steps to earn profit dan sebagainya. Okay. Selepas daripada itu kita nak tengok pula kita dah dapat kelulusan ataupun kita dah berbincang dengan pihak-pihak tertentu, dengan creditors, dengan shareholders. So kita pun devise a scheme of capital reduction ataupun device ni maknanya device ni peralatan sebenarnya. Jadi kita terjemahkan dia sebagai plan. plan a scheme of capital reduction. The capital reduction scheme is devised to ensure that lost capital is written off against claims of various parties affected. Jadi kita nak selesaikan, kita nak write off kita punya loss tadi. Loss yang 400,000 tadi kita kena write off. Tapi bukan sekadar write off begitu saja. Kita nak debit apa, kredit apa. Kan? Mesti ada dia punya kredit. Kita mesti ada dia punya debit kan. Bila kita kredit kita punya loss, mestilah ada tempat lain nak debit. So kita nak debit apa. Jadi kat situlah yang kita nak debit apa tu kita kena berbincang. Okay, we have to discuss with ordinary shareholders, discuss with preference shareholders, discuss with creditors. Okay, how much you want to take the loss? How much you want to absorb the loss? Kan, ordinary shareholders, kita bincang ordinary shareholders. Ordinary shareholders must be the greatest loss absorber. The greatest loss absorber sebab apa? Sebab ordinary shareholders adalah, bolehlah kita kata sebagai owner of the company. And then followed by preference shareholders. Kemudian followed by debenture holders. Lepas tu kalau ada lah, ya, mungkin kita pergi kepada account payable. Jadi maknanya pihak-pihak tadi perlulah dibawa berbincang dulu. Is written off against claims of various parties affected. So various parties yang kita nak claim, yang ada claim tadi, terdiri daripada yang saya sebut tadi lah. Creditors, debenture holders, preference shareholders, ordinary shareholders. Those are the parties who have claim over the asset of the company affected by the adverse financial situation. Normally, the ordinary shareholders will be the one who absorb the largest amount of loss, followed by the preference shareholders, debenture holders and even creditors. Kalau dia nak lah. Sebab selama ni pun dia dah dapat duit banyak daripada company. Takkanlah kali ni dia tak nak bantu. Factors to consider. How to determine the loss and how to be allocated. So loss tadi dia kata loss 400,000. Tapi kita kena calculate actual loss. Betul ke actual loss dia 400,000? Biasanya lebih. Okay. So how to determine the loss and how to be allocated. Total amount to be written off. Ini adalah factor that we need to consider. Apa yang kita nak consider? Accumulated losses have to be eliminated and asset have to be revalued. Written down or written up to fair value. Jadi apa-apa aset yang ada, kan kita ada land and building, property, plant, equipment, ada motor vehicle, machine, semua sekali kita revalue. Kita nak tengok what is the value. What is the value in use and what is the fair value less cost to sell. Sebab kita nak cari recoverable amount, whichever is higher. Kemudian yang kedua, the right of various creditors. Okay. Sometimes creditors are willing to accept a reduction in their claims or to convert their claim into shares. Kadang-kadang macam tu. Kadang-kadang dia kata, okay, we are willing to sacrifice our 10% claim. 10% of our claim. Tapi dia kata, we don't want to sacrifice our claim, but we can exchange our amount of creditors with shares. Maknanya you boleh bayar kami dengan saham. Yang ketiga, apportionment of risk. The ordinary shareholder should take the major loss as they are the risk bearers. Number 4, preferred dividend in arrears. The preference shareholders may be willing to waive their right to dividends or to be exchanged with shares. Pun sama juga. Kemudian E, amount of loss the preference shareholders could bear. The preference shareholders may be willing to accept a reduction in their paid-up capital, especially if they do not have any preferential rights to repayment of capital over the ordinary shareholders. The amount must not be as large as the ordinary shareholders. And lastly, the scheme should ensure that all affected parties are treated equitably. Equitably ni maknanya adil. Jadi adil tu bukanlah sama banyak, tapi adil mengikut turutan tadilah. Paling banyak untuk nak absorb ordinary. Nombor 2 preference, nombor 3 debenture, nombor 4 barulah other creditors. Okay, let's look at example 1 in page 238 dan kita sambung dengan example 2 terus. Jadi saya gabungkan example 1 dengan example 2. Okay, so given below is the statement of financial position of reduction berhad as at 31st December X9. Okay, so what we have here, we have land and building 100,000, motor vehicle 50,000, plant 50,000, inventory 50,000, trade receivable 40,000. So these are the assets available. And current asset and current asset, total 290,000. Okay, what about the equity? About the equity, we have 300,000 ordinary shares, but we have accumulated losses of 180,000. So the equity value is only 120,000. It shows that the capital has been eroded by accumulated losses. And we have also trade payable 80,000 and bank overdraft 90,000. Betulkan bank, bukan bank overdraft. Okay. When we look at this statement of financial position, what is the problem with the company? Problem number 1 is it has a big loss. It has a big loss. What is problem number 2? Problem number 2, it has working capital that is negative. Yeah, working capital that is negative also. When we add inventories and trade receivable, it is 90,000. When we add the trade payable and bank overdraft, it is 170,000. So here is 90,000. Here is 170,000. Jadi working capital negative. Current ratio negative. So it shows that the company is really having a problem. So we need to help this company. The following values are applicable to the asset of the company. Asset of the company, yeah. So the company ni bila dia tahu dia ada masalah, dia sedar diri. Dia sedar diri, lalu dia semaklah value of dia punya asset. Semua dia semak. Kalau katakan dia teruskan perniagaan, so kita panggil dia sebagai value in use. Kalau dia teruskan perniagaan, value in use. So the value in use is value in use as a going concern. Land kekal pada harga 100,000. Motor vehicle kekal ke turun? Harga asal tadi berapa motor vehicle? Carrying amount dia. Motor vehicle 50,000. 50,000, sekarang 340. Kan? Okay. Kemudian plant 330. Inventory 50, trade receivable 40. Tidak berubah yang itu. Itu value in use. Maknanya if you continue to operate your business, these are the value of your asset. Maknanya turun sikit-sikit je. Motor vehicle turun 10, plant turun 20, inventory tak turun, trade receivable tak turun. However, if you liquidate your company, your land can be sold at 100,000, no problem. But your motor vehicle is now only valued at 20,000. And the plant is at 30,000 also. What about inventories? Inventories is for the purpose of producing your product. But when you want to sell your inventory to other parties, okay, other parties can only purchase at 5,000. There is a lot of reduction. What about trade receivable? Trade receivable can only be collected up to 30,000. So maknanya kalau you nak jual company you cuma dapat berapa je. 120, 150, 185. 185 saja value daripada value asal yang banyak tadi. Sedangkan kalau you nak teruskan, the value in use is 170, 220, 260. Jauh sangat beza dia. So, company pun decide to continue the business but undertake capital reduction. So, when the company decided to undertake the capital reduction, the company need to recalculate the loss. Just now the loss is only 180,000. But what is the actual loss? What is the actual loss? The actual loss of the company can be calculated by taking the new value of the asset minus the new value of liabilities. So the new value of asset is land and building maintained at 100,000, motor vehicle 40,000, plant 30,000, inventory 50,000, trade receivable 40,000. Total asset is 260 only. And the trade receivable and bank overdraft maintained at 80,000 and 90,000 respectively. So the actual loss of capital is 210,000 and not 180,000. Okay? Actual loss 210, bukan 180. Lagi besar. Tapi kalau kita jual, lagilah besar kerugian dia. So, pilihan kita adalah untuk teruskan, tapi kita nak absorb loss ni untuk diserap oleh pihak-pihak yang terlibat. Alternative way of determining the loss. Kaedah yang satu lagi nak determine loss. Saya suka yang ni lah. The accumulated loss as per statement of financial position just now is 180,000. At reduce in value of motor vehicle 10. Reduce in value of plant 20. For inventories and trade receivable, there is no reduce in value. So altogether, the capital loss is 210,000. So maknanya betul lah 210,000 tadi. Kita guna cara yang atas pun 210,000. Cara yang bawah pun 210,000 juga. Since there is only one class of shareholder, kita cuma ada satu saja shareholder, iaitu ordinary shareholder. All the loss will be borne by the ordinary shareholders. That is, the ordinary share capital will be reduced by 210,000. By doing that, the ordinary share capital will be reduced from 1 ringgit to 30 sen each. Jadi, nak turunkan harga tadi daripada RM1 kepada 30 sen tadi bukan kita tentukan dulu. Kita kena tentukan dulu berapa banyak kerugian. Selepas kita absorb kerugian, jadi berapa harga ordinary share, preference share, debenture yang kita ada. Okay. So itu untuk example 1 lah. Kita sambung dengan example 2. Example 2 ni dia ada additional information. Additional information dia kata ordinary share will reduce to 30 sen. Tadi kita dah agree bila kita totalkan the actual loss tadi, kita dapat apabila kita nak suruh ordinary shareholder serap, dia kena serap 210,000. Jadi ordinary share dia akan jadi harga dia tinggal 30 sen. So kita bersambung dengan additional information from example 2. Ordinary share will reduce to 30 sen. So tally lah. Okay. Kemudian existing ordinary shares to take up 2 fully paid ordinary shares for every one share. Jadi selain daripada dikurangkan harga dia daripada RM1 kepada 30 sen, dia juga kena bagi duit lagi. Bagi duit dengan cara apa? To take up 2 fully paid ordinary share for every one share. Jadi tadi dia ada 300,000 ordinary share. Kan? Jadi dia kena beli 600,000 ordinary share pada harga 30 sen. Harga 30 sen ya. 600 kali dengan 30 sen. 6 kali 3, 18. 1,800. Ataupun 1.8 juta. Existing ordinary share asalnya 300,000. Okay. To take up fully, 2 fully paid up capital. 300 kali 2, 600,000. 600,000 kali dengan 30 sen maknanya 180,000. Bukan 1.8 juta. 180,000. Kemudian part of the cash raised by the issue to be used to pay bank overdraft. Bank overdraft tadi ada berapa tadi? 90,000. Kita nak bayar dengan menggunakan duit itu. A special resolution was passed and approval of the court was obtained. Jadi apa yang kita perlu buat? Required prepare journal entries to give effect to the scheme and prepare the statement of financial position immediately after the reduction. Okay. Jadi faham tadi yang setakat soalan tu faham kan? Apa yang berlaku kepada company ni dan apa yang kita nak buat? Boleh faham ya?
Sikit.
Okey. So sekarang ni kita nak prepare journal entries lah sebab kita dah setuju tadi kita nak reduce ordinary share daripada RM1 kepada 30 sen. Okey, itu perkara yang pertama lah. Perkara yang kedua, ordinary shareholder dia akan ambil ordinary share yang baru sebanyak 600,000 unit kali 30 sen. Okey. Apa perkara lain? Perkara yang lain-lain tu kita nak reduce value of aset-aset tadi. Kan? So kena ada journal entry lah. Kemudian kita nak write off juga kita punya loss tadi. Kita nak write off. Jadi ada 4 ataupun 5 journal entry yang kita akan tunjukkan kat sini untuk mewakili apa-apa persetujuan di dalam scheme of capital reduction. So kita tengok yang pertama. Ya, kita tengok yang pertama, debit ordinary share, credit capital reduction. What is this? Debit ordinary share, credit capital reduction. This is to reduce ataupun to write down the value of ordinary share from RM1 to 30 sen. Being ordinary shares written down to 30 sen each. Debit ordinary share capital, credit capital reduction. Itu persetujuan yang paling penting. Maknanya dengan kita debit ordinary share ni habis hilang semua kerugian. Kerugian tadi actual loss is 210,000. Bila kita debit saja ordinary share capital, maka loss tadi dah settle. Kan? Tapi kita tak bolehlah kita debit ordinary share credit profit or loss. Kita tak boleh macam tu sebab kita punya scheme ni kita panggil capital reduction. Jadi kita kena create satu temporary account iaitu capital reduction account. Capital reduction account ni kita adalah account yang temporary lah. Temporary untuk settlekan problem ni. Okay, that is number 1. Number 2, apa lagi persetujuan kita? Kita nak write off kita punya loss. So, we debit capital reduction 180,000, credit accumulated loss. This is the actual loss from the statement of financial position. Debit capital reduction, credit accumulated loss. Kita nampak tadi kita credit capital reduction, tapi sekarang ni kita debit capital reduction. Tapi tak balance lagi tu. 210 dengan 180. Belum balance lagi. Ada lagi perkara lain yang kita kena write off. Ada 2 asset, motor vehicle and plant. We need to write down motor vehicle and plant by 10,000 and 20,000 respectively. Debit capital reduction, credit motor vehicle, credit plant. Okay, ini kita write down, bukan write off. Okay, kemudian kita record dekat sini persetujuan ordinary shareholders to take up 2 new shares for every 1 held. Okay, jadi 300,000 times 2 times 30 sen. So it is equal to 180,000. Debit bank 180,000 and credit ordinary shares 180,000. What about the bank overdraft? Just now we agree that the bank overdraft will be settled by using the money that we receive from issue of shares. Kan? Kita dapat duit ni 180,000. 90,000 kita gunakan untuk bayar bank overdraft. Debit bank overdraft, credit bank. Okay. So kita dah jalankan semua aktiviti yang kita perlu jalankan dan kita dah journalize semua masuk dalam journal. So, tugas yang terakhir kita adalah to prepare the statement of financial position after the completion of the capital reduction. Kita tengok cantik ke tidak kita punya statement of financial position after that. Kita buat capital reduction. Adakah kita punya statement cantik ataupun masih sama juga macam tadi? Kalau masih sama lagi, tak selesai masalah. Okey, ini dia kita punya statement of statement of financial position kita. Land and building 100,000, motor vehicle 40,000, plant and machinery 30,000, inventory 50,000, trade receivable 40,000. Bank asalnya negatif 90 campur dengan 180 tinggallah 90. Total asset is 350,000. Okey. Ordinary share capital asalnya 90, lepas tu take up new shares 180, totalnya 270. Lepas tu kita punya liability yang tinggal adalah trade payable. Dan terlupa nak totalkan tu, total equity and liability kat situ adalah 350,000. Betulkan awak punya ya. 350,000. Okay, cantik tak sekarang ni dia punya statement of financial position berbanding yang asal? Is it more beautiful? Ke tak rasa apa-apa? What do you think? The new statement of financial position, is it better than previously? Syukri?
Yes, sir.
Tengok balance sheet ni, statement of financial position ni. Lebih cantik daripada tadi ke sama je?
Cantik sikit lah.
Kat mana cantik tu?
Kat
Selepas kita macam-macam kita buat, apa cantiknya kat mana?
Kat capital.
Capital cantik. Lepas tu apa lagi?
Bank cantik sikit.
Bank pun cantik lagi. Yang paling cantik sekali.
Tax payable
Paling cantik takkan? Ini cerita kita nak selesaikan apa bila kita buat capital reduction ni?
Kita punya
apa masalah besar dia yang kita dah selesaikan?
earning ordinary.
Yang lain pun boleh jawab juga, tapi okeylah. Syukri biasa Syukri menjawabkan, jadi saya tanya Syukri ya. Tu pun tadi macam apa? Ada terlelap sekejap ke Syukri?
Tak.
Okey, yang lain pun menyampuklah sikit. Apa yang paling cantik? Yang asalnya ada, sekarang tak ada. Yang menyebabkan kita buat capital reduction ni, apa punca capital reduction tadi?
Retaining
kita dah selesai. Retain earning lah. Tadi kan kita punya retain earning kan negatif kan? Sekarang dah tak ada dah, kosong. So the company can start again dia punya reputation dia kan. Dia tunjukkan, okay, this is our new statement of financial position. Now we don't have any loss. We don't have any loss. Bila kita tak ada loss ni, kita boleh beri confidence kepada supplier kan. Kita boleh bagi confidence kepada supplier, kita boleh bagi confidence kepada potential investor. Dan kalau kita tengok kat sini pun sekarang ni kan dia punya net working capital dia dah tak negatif tau. Ya, net working capital. I hope what I'm discussing with you, you can understand working capital ni. Working capital ni adalah comparing kita punya current asset dengan current liability. Jadi masa sebelum capital reduction, kita punya working capital kita negatif. Sekarang ni working capital kita dah positif. Kita campurkan 50 campur 40 campur 90, 180. Berbanding dengan kita punya liability 80. Jadi kita punya current ratio pun dah cantik. Kita punya working capital dah cantik. Kita punya equity dah cantik dah. Walaupun equity taklah tinggi, tapi tak ada loss. Tak ada loss. So this is the result of capital reduction. So from here you know why capital reduction is important. So for those yang katakan lepas daripada ni, lepas diploma ni kata nak kerja dulu. Sekarang ni banyak tahu company yang loss. Banyak company loss. Jadi bila you keluar nanti, kan, company ni dia akan tanyalah sebab you belajar accounting. Okay, you as an accounting student ataupun ex-accounting student, do you know how to solve our problem? We have a loss of 1 million now. What is your suggestion? Masa tu lah kita nak tunjuk ilmu kita. Bukan nak tunjuk pandai. Kita nak tunjuk ilmu kita that you have learned about capital reduction. Okay, sebutlah bos. Okay, this is our suggestion. You start with capital reduction. Yeah, buat apa special resolution. Lepas tu devise a scheme of capital reduction. Lepas tu apply kepada court. Jadi mahkamah akan putuskan boleh ke tidak. Jadi mungkin masa itulah, mungkin kalau berjaya mungkin you akan naik gaji lah. Jadi akan dipercayai lah menjadi seorang kaki tangan yang dipercayai oleh majikan. Sebab benda ni dah lama tak ada cerita pasal loss ni. Bila kita ada COVID dan sebagainya ni, company mula balik dengan kerugian makin besar. So capital reduction is one way of solving the problem of company. So saya harap situ cerita saya ni memberi semangatlah untuk awak memahami apa yang kita belajar pada hari ini. Okay, itu setakat example 1 dengan example 2 lah. Di example 1, example 2 tu kira basic lah. Okay ya semua ya, boleh follow ya.
Boleh sikit-sikit.
Okay. So kita masuk example 3 ni. Example 3. Okay, dalam example 3 ni ada dua pihak lain selain daripada ordinary shareholders. Dia ada preference shareholder, dia ada debenture holder. Maknanya masalah tu lebih rumit lagi. Kalau ada shareholder, ordinary shareholder saja, masalah tu kita berbincang dengan shareholder, satu shareholder saja, iaitu ordinary. Tapi bila ada debenture dengan preference ni, kita kena bincang lebih detail lagi. Okay. So, this is the statement of financial position of emergency Berhad as at 31st December X9. Taklah, net asset dia comprise of macam-macam dia ada. Non-current asset dia, research and development, land and building, motor vehicle, fixtures and fitting, investment. Itu dia punya non-current asset. Current asset pula dia ada inventory, trade receivable dan dia ada cash. Sikit je, 2,000. Sikit tu maknanya sikit untuk company lah. Untuk orang mungkin banyak 2,000, tapi untuk company ni sikit. Okay. Company ni nak bayar gaji staff dan sebagainya, dengan ada 2,000 saja memang bermasalah lah company ni sebenarnya. Kemudian ordinary share 550,000. Okay, this is number of share 100,000 ya. This is the value 550,000. Maksudnya share dia ni dulu masa di issue bukan pada harga RM1, tapi pada harga RM10 pada harga RM10. Sebab itulah kita dapat 550,000. Kemudian kita ada 100,000 preference share dan accumulated loss banyak tu 350,000. Kemudian kita ada 8% debentures. Okay, kita ada current liability, kita ada trade payables, kita ada loan from directors dan bank overdraft. Okay. Jadi kita sebelum kita tengok kepada additional information, kita tengok dulu apakah masalah company ini. Yang pertama, the company is having a big loss of 350,000. Okay, big loss of 350,000. Okay, kita semak dia punya working capital. Kita semak working capital, kita compare dia punya current asset dengan current liability. Berapa banyak current asset dia ada?
72,000.
Yes, 72,000. What about the current liability? Berapa banyak? $92,000 kan? 92,000. So, nampak tak dia punya masalah? Maknanya dia ada cash problem, ada liquidity problem. Okay, kita teruskan lagi. So, kita ada problem yang pertama, dia banyak loss. Problem yang kedua, liquidity problem. Sebenarnya liquidity problem ni boleh menyebabkan company tadi tak boleh bayar dia punya supplier. Bila dia tak boleh bayar supplier, dia tak boleh dapat inventory baru. Bila tak dapat inventory baru, customer tak nak beli produk. Okay. Bila customer tak nak beli produk, so sale berkurang. Bila sale berkurang, keuntungan berkurang dan begitulah pusingan dia. Manakala receivable yang lama ni, receivable tidak bertambah tapi tidak berkurang. Tidak bertambah tapi tidak berkurang. Okey. Kita tengok notes. Notes dia lagi banyaklah kali ni. Areas on preference dividend are 20,000. Dia ada preference share tadi. Jadi preference share tadi dah lama dia tak bayar. Bukan saja tak bayar, dia nak declare pun tak berani. Nak declare dividend pun tak berani sebab dia dah loss dah. Loss bertahun-tahun kan, bukan ke kalau kita nak declare dividend ni kena ada profit. Jadi tak ada profit, dia tak declare pun dividend, tapi disebabkan dia ada preference share capital, maka preference share capital tadi dia ada dividend in arrears. Memang tak masuk dalam account, tetapi shareholder ni dikira lah berapa banyak dividend yang company tak bayar pada saya kan. So katalah dah 20,000. Kemudian there is a contingent liability for damages of 30,000 which has not been provided for. So contingent liability ni you faham lah. Contingent liability ni dia under MFRS berapa? You belajar FAR 270. MFRS? Provision, contingent liability, contingent asset, MFRS berapa? Ingat tak? Tak ingat?
137
137?
Salah.
Tak kata salah. Berapa MFRS berapa? Siapa boleh ingat? Contingent liability, dia apa? Provision, contingent liability, contingent asset. Dapat A kan tahun lepas? Apa bulan berapa itu? Bulan periksa bulan Februari
MFRS 138.
138?
Mana dia belajar 38.
118.
118? Okay, betul ni. Confirm 118?
Macam tak pernah nak, macam tak ada 138 yang lepas.
MFRS 137 ke Ustaz?
137 sebenarnya contingent.
MFRS 137. Provision kan? Provision, contingent liability, contingent asset IFRS 137. Okey. Jadi kat situ okey. Jadi kenapa sebenarnya kita punya contingent liability ni kita tak provide, sebab masa tu dia belum materialize. Maknanya court tak decide lagi ke, macam-macam lah reason dia. Kan, sebab dia tak fulfill the definition of a liability. Ataupun tak fulfill definition of a provision. So dia tak buat provision dah untuk contingent liability tu. Tetapi biasanya kalau kita ni, company kita ni sedang bermasalah, mahkamah dia akan cepat-cepat putuskan aja. Mahkamah akan cepat-cepat putuskan, buat keputusan supaya nanti tak sempat kita nak bankrupt kan. Dia dah buat keputusan. Kalau kita dah bankrupt tak boleh buat apa dah. Jadi sebelum bankrupt tu dia pun buat keputusan. Kita pun liable. Jadi bertambah lagi lah kita punya kerugian. Dah ada kerugian 300 lebih tadi. Tambah pula dengan 30,000. Iaitu contingent liability for damages. Okey. Jadi contingent liability for damages ni dia akan jadi salah satu daripada liability lah apabila dia materialize. Kemudian yang ketiga, a capital reduction scheme approved by the court. Maknanya mahkamah telah memutuskan perkara-perkara berikut, panjang lebar ni. Daripada 1 sampai 5 ni. Okey. Bekas dia, skim yang dibawa ke mahkamah. Preference share to reduce to 50 sen. Preference share daripada RM1 jadi 50 sen. Ordinary share daripada RM1 10 sen jadi 25 sen. Daripada RM1 10 sen jadi 25 sen. Preference shareholder will receive one ordinary share of 25 sen each for every RM1 preference dividend. Kan, preference dividend tadi ada arrears sebanyak 20,000. Jadi, untuk setiap RM1, dia dapat 1 share berharga 25 sen. Maknanya dia akan dapat 20,000 share kali dengan 25 sen. Kemudian yang ketiga, the accumulated loss and intangible assets are written off. Number 4, inventories of 10,000 and bad debt of 5,000 are to be written off. Number 5, the fair value of asset are as follows. So land naik sikit nilai dia. Purchase 30,000. Investment naik 2,000. Okey, kemudian apa lagi keputusan lain? The directors accept ordinary share in place of their loans. Okey, TSCR ya. Of their loan. Jadi dia sanggup dia tukarkan dia punya loan tadi dengan ordinary share. Pada masa yang sama dia sanggup support pula. Dia sanggup support, dia kata to subscribe for 40,000 ordinary share of 25 sen each. Jadi selain daripada dia dapat saham, tak payah bayar hutang saya, dia kata, awak bagi je pada saya saham yang sama. Mana tadi? Yang sama nilai dengan hutang tu. Hutang dia tadi berapa? 10 ke 20 ke 30. Okey. Jadi sama nilai. Kemudian dia sanggup untuk sumbangkan lagi 40,000 ordinary shares. RM40,000 ordinary shares of 25 sen each. Jadi banyaklah directors ni membantu memulihkan syarikat ni. Kemudian E, capital reduction cost amounted to 2,000. Nothing is free. Kemudian last sekali, subsequently, the following transaction took place. Selepas selesai semua sekali itu, perkara-perkara berikut mengambil tempat ataupun berlaku. Dah selesai semua, barulah dia jual investment dia sebanyak 32,000. Ya. Kemudian yang kedua, the contingent liability was materialized and settled by the company. Jadi selepas selesai semua benda tu, barulah dua-dua perkara ni berlaku. Okey. So, soalan ni menghendaki kita supaya buat journal entries dan juga statement of financial position. Okay. Okay, so kita dikehendaki untuk buat journal entries. Okay. Jadi yang pertama sekali, ya, preferential capital tadi dia reduce daripada RM1 kepada berapa? 50 sen. 100,000 kali 50 sen sama dengan 50,000. So debit debit preferential capital, credit capital reduction. So, kat sini kita bolehlah tuliskan sebagai being kat sini being preferential capital reduce RM 0.5 each. Being preferential capital reduced to RM 0.5 each. Next, ordinary share capital pula. Share capital debit 425,000, credit capital reduction 425,000. Okay, so yang bersama juga being OSC reduce to RM 0.25 each. Okey, macam mana kita boleh dapat 425,000? Macam mana kita boleh dapat 450,000? 425. Kita 52,000 bagi dengan 500,000. Kita tolak lah. Kita RM1.10 kita tolak dengan 90 sen. Bukan. Jadi 25 sen. Tinggal 10 sen jadi 25 sen. Berapa tu?
85 sen.
85 sen. Kita kali dengan 500,000. Cuba kira dapat tak? Bukan tolak 0.85, tolak dengan 25. Tolak dengan 25. 25 sen. Dapat tak? Maknanya 85 sen kali dengan 500,000 dapat tak?
Dapat.
Dapat ya. 425,000. So macam tu lah. Okey, seterusnya. Okey, yang bawah ni pula. Ni. Ordinary share ni. Debit ordinary share. Debit capital reduction. Credit ordinary share. Ini adalah apa ni? Ini adalah being 20,000 ordinary shares issued as full satisfaction of preference dividend. Full satisfaction of preference dividend. Jadi dia kata tadi, preference shareholders dia setuju preference dividend yang arrears sebanyak 20,000 tadi ditukarkan dengan ordinary share. Ya, ditukarkan dengan ordinary share. Walaupun nilainya kurang. Walaupun nilai dia kurang tapi dia sanggup terima lah. Iaitu dia dapat 5,000 saja. Jadilah 5,000 daripada daripada tak ada langsung. Daripada tak ada langsung, baik dapat 2,000, 5,000. Okey. Itu preference dividend. Next, apa lagi? Kita ada debit capital reduction, credit accumulated loss. Ini loss tadi kita eliminate ataupun kita write off. Being accumulated losses, written off. Jadi mungkin ada narration yang saya tak tulis lah, saya sebutkan saja. Being accumulated losses, written off. Seterusnya, seterusnya ni ada 4 item kat sini. 4 item yang nilai dia turun. Debit capital reduction 125,000, credit fixtures and fitting. Fixtures and fitting reduced by 5,000. Credit inventory is 10,000. Credit R&D 105,000. Credit trade receivable 5,000. Ini nilai-nilai yang turun. R&D terus kosong. Daripada 105,000 jadi kosong. Jadi kita belajar itu intangible kan. R&D ni sepatutnya adalah dia punya future economic benefit. Tapi kalau dah tak ada future economic benefit, maka kita kena write off lah dia punya R&D itu. Jadi macam impairment lah ni. 105 ni. Okay. So, ini being asset written down value. Being asset written down. Kemudian ini aset yang naik pula. Ada juga aset yang naik. Land and building naik, investment pun naik sebanyak 2,000. And credit capital reduction. Okey, kemudian kat sini ini cerita pasal contingent liability. Dah selesai semua kan? Contingent liability ni. Okey. Debit capital reduction, credit contingent liability 30,000. Debit contingent liability, credit bank 30,000. Jadi kalau kita nak terus debit capital reduction, credit bank, dia macam apa? Maknanya macam very straightforward lah. Jadi kita memang kena buat macam ni lah. Debit capital reduction, credit contingent liability, debit contingent liability, credit bank 30,000 ni. Yang contingent liability dah sekarang dah kena bayar pula kan. Claim macam gitu. Dan debit capital reduction, credit bank. Ini adalah being, ini saya tulis dekat sini, being capital reduction cost. Saya kata tadi nothing is free kan, being capital reduction cost. Being capital reduction cost. Dan bawah tu director's loan ditukar dengan ordinary share. Debit director's loan, credit ordinary share 20,000. Dan bawah sekali tu adalah investment yang dijual. Debit bank, credit investment 32,000. Dan bawah sekali tu adalah debit bank, credit ordinary share. Ini adalah the amount of ordinary share yang directors agree to contribute. Debit bank 40,000, credit ordinary share 40,000. Okey kelas? Jadi itulah dia punya journal entry, banyak juga. Akhir sekali adalah kita punya statement. Okay. Statement of financial position kita lebih cantik lah sekarang ni. Cantik General current asset, kita ada land and building, motor vehicle, fixtures and fitting. Current asset kita ada inventory, trade receivable, ada cash in hand banyak. Okay. Kemudian ordinary share pun dah kukuh balik 190,000. Dan kita ada 100,000 preference share capital, walaupun nilai dia turun jadi 50,000. Debenture kekal, kita tak usik dia tadi. Current liabilities tinggal sikit je, 72 berbanding dengan current asset yang lebih banyak. So begitulah ya, kita punya ni ya, punya cerita tentang capital reduction. Apa-apa soalan? Ada apa-apa soalan nak tanya tentang capital reduction ni? Jadi soalan capital reduction ni saya akan tanya dalam kita punya quiz. Quiz 10 marks. Quiz 10% lah, quiz 10% yang akan dibuat pada minggu yang ke-9. Okey, quiz pada minggu yang ke-9 tajuk ini. Tajuk ni saja. Okey, tajuk ni saja. Sedangkan dalam final exam soalan dia lebih senang sikit lah. Dalam final exam 10 markah je. Untuk quiz markah dia adalah 30 markah untuk quiz. 30 ataupun 25 macam tu lah. 25 markah quiz Jadi itulah yang kita pelajari pada hari ini. Okey. Jadi untuk kelas yang akan datang kita boleh buat, kita boleh cuba satu soalan. Saya boleh bagi terus ke soalannya. Kita tengok chapter 7. Okey, kita cuba tengok soalan. Seven point four Tapi macam susah sikit soalan tu. Sekejap kita tengok soalan. Okey, kita teruskanlah soalan 7.4. Cuba soalan 7.4. Dan kita akan discuss lah pada hari, insyaAllah pada kelas hari Rabu walaupun online tu dah balik kampung, tapi insyaAllah lah kita akan teruskan kelas. Jadi untuk kelas hari ni saya tak boleh nak sambung lagi dah. Okey. Macam saya janjikan tadi, mungkin kelas tu 1 jam lebih ataupun 1 jam setengah. Dan alhamdulillah saya rasa dah sampai 1 jam setengah ni. Disebabkan faktor kesihatan tak boleh nak teruskan kelas hingga ke hujung masa yang disediakan. Jadi kalau ada apa-apa soalan boleh tanya sekarang. Ada apa-apa soalan nak tanya? Ada tak apa-apa soalan?
Tak ada saya.
Okey, so kalau tak ada, kita akhiri kelas kita pada hari ini dengan surah Wal-Asr. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal 'asri innal insana lafi khusr illa allazina amanu wa 'amilus solihat wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.